Howdy, y'all. Here. Uh, Wingspan Angel, thank you for being here tonight. Can you hear me okay tonight? Oh, poor signal. Hello, Jenny. This is not working right. We've got a real blurry picture tonight. Hello, Claire. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, I'm going to try and keep this short as the Tyrants Beware just went live too. Hell yeah, Oklahoma Outlaw. Good to see you. Anyway, I'm going to try and paint you a little picture. Somebody asked me to talk about this and explain it. We're going to talk about the big picture and why it is not out there. I know a lot of people. I've made no bones about that. I know some very powerful people. I get to talk to them sometimes. They're the kind of people you don't want to talk to. Let's put it this way. How did I put it? Wish you all the luck in the world with your little news channel. I hope it is a success. Now, if you read between the lines, that's dripping with sarcasm. We hope it's a success. No. Hello, Robert. Good to see you, bud. Thank you for joining us from across the pond. Anyway, let's put it this way. I've known some large YouTube channels that I've been having conversations with that they're not here anymore. They're not producing anything, but and we were all talking about the same things. The things I want to bring. I have I have a story to tell, and we all know this, right? I have a story to tell, but there are people out there that don't want me pointing my finger at them. Now, there's just a small handful of people that pull the puppet strings in our world. I know who a few of them are. We all know who a few of them are. Few of the families we've talked about them. The Rockefellers, um, the Rothschilds family, um, DuPont family. We've talked about a few of these. Carnegie's, old money, new money. It's the money that's pulling the strings. We've talked about this before. The golden rule: he who has all the gold makes all the rules. Well, let's put it this way: they've made me feel very uncomfortable about bringing you these news stories. So I'm going to have to restructure a few things because I've already got two stories done. They're ready to premiere. Hello, Daisy May. Thank you for being here. You got the idea, Daisy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They've more or less let me know, don't do that. One of them actually reminded me of something that they always told me when I was a kid. When you're pointing your finger at somebody else, there's usually three more pointing right back at you. Point I'm trying to make here is I'm going to find a way to tell you these stories, but I'm going to let somebody else tell you these stories. We might find, as soon as I figure out how the fair use works, and we'll roll this all together. I want you to understand there are people pulling the strings. Um, most people only see the tip of the iceberg. Y'all know that they just had the World Economic Forum in Davos just a few weeks ago, just last week. I've known speakers at those events. Put it this way, one of them chewed me out when I was in basic training. I know these people. I know some of these families. We all know that power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the one thing power does a lot of, it does a lot of covering itself, protecting its power. These people would do anything to protect that power. All I want you to do is to see through the veil that they have pulled up. Kind of like in the movie The Wizard of Oz. Don't pay any attention to that little guy behind the curtain over there. We all need to look at who's back there behind that curtain pulling all the levers, making the puppet dance. I've seen what makes our world go round. I used to be part of the a part of the machine. Anyway, thank you all for being here, Robert. Wingspan Angel, thank you for being here. Oklahoma Outlaw Audits. Wingspan, can you put up a few of these links for us, please, and uh, share share everybody's links if you feel like it. The point I guess that's kind of, I think y'all saw me go a little sideways after the holidays, and that was why. I'm trying to put something together, and it goes a little crazy. The thing with Muxter 57 was kind of a setup. It was to bring some drama so you'll look at the big picture. Thank you, Wingspan. It's to try and draw an audience, is what that was all about. But he took it, he took it a little farther than I expected him to. He shot the messenger. I knew what he was going to find. I knew exactly what he was going to find. Zero, nothing. But he got mad at me because I'm the one that gave him that information. He can't verify that information. I don't need to verify it because I've lived it. I'm hoping I am, Claire. I really am hoping I'm smart enough to figure out where I'm going from here, but I'm working on it. I'm gonna rehash what I've already done and see how that works. I was ready to do a premiere on the 6th of January. I was gonna do that for my birthday. No, I don't think so. Um, we all know that this platform tends to censor what the audience can see. Thank you, Claire. Exactly, exactly, Daisy May. They want to make you look crazy. A little gaslighting going on there. Exactly the way it works, Daisy. And thank you, Claire. I'm the point I'm trying to make here is, I mean, let's put it this way. When I was 5 years old, I got a piggyback ride from a man who would later become a president of the United States. I'm related to a man who ran for president. He didn't win, but that's okay too. Um, Another very famous daredevil gave me a go-kart when I was 14. I've been around this my whole life, not just musicians, not just movie stars. I've known athletes, world-class athletes, world record holders. I'm related to uh, one or two. Point I'm making here is you can't. I've stood against them. That's why I sit here with what I like everybody to believe is next to nothing. Never use money to measure wealth. Right here, I'm a wealthy man. Right here, who's familiar with the movie? I think it was Cary Grant, 1962, Alfred Hitchcock, The Man Who Knew Too Much. They might be able to take everything you have away from you, but they can still take more from you. I don't want to find myself in that position. Great film, yes, but I'll put it this way. My biological mother, and I'm giving you a shot at the top of my head, my biological mother was a student of Alfred Hitchcock. I know how devious minds work. When the powers that be say it's going to be this way, and they're trying to paint it all nice and rosy. No, it's not cool. That's not cool, Claire. No. Um, I don't have anything nice to say about Mr. Hitchcock. Nothing nice at all. Anyway, when the powers that be try to paint a rosy picture, excuse me, when they try to paint a nice rosy picture to trying to make it sound like they're giving you their blessings when they're in fact telling you exactly the opposite. Yeah, well, the knowledge, no, it's an experience I'd rather not have. It's a dark side of the world, and I don't want to go to that dark side to be doing that. I can see it in others. It is knowledge, yes, it is useful knowledge, but I can see it being used by others and know when it's coming my way. The thing with Muxter 57, um, it was a way of showing you all that our government only tells us what they want us to know, period. Right down to who our heroes are. If our heroes don't want to be known, they're not on that database. And I know why and how. There's only one way, and I mentioned it before. The National Archives or the Library of Congress, one of the two. Anyway, it, I'm not trying to badmouth, I'm not trying to belittle anything you're saying, Clary. I agree with you, is what I'm saying. Knowledge is always power. It's how you use it that gives you that power. And I haven't figured I can see it, but I haven't figured out how to manipulate it, you know? I'm not a manipulator. I've seen it used. I've seen some of his techniques used, but anyway, that's kind of why the big picture hasn't started yet, is because I won't call it a threat, but it was just like, are you sure you want to do that? And then one person spoke up and says, haven't you lost enough already? I love you, Claire. Thank you for being here, honey. It's awesome that you feel that way. Now you do know that there's a 3 to 5 second lag here, and I'm not sure how the picture's coming across. There it is. It's working better. I'm oh, I'm I'm afraid, well, I'm missing his premiere, but that's the way it works. As long as you guys can hear me and see me fine, because it's been really kind of in and out and wishy-washy. We're having some geomagnetic instabilities the last few days. Anyway, I am going to try and get this going. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I am going to point a few of them out that aren't obvious, like the DuPont family and the Rockefellers and Carnegies. And oh, they've already promised me money, and I could have had fame. I said, no, thank you. You're right, Daisy. They'll do that. They'll they'll want you to just just sign on this dotted line. I mean, I've seen so many artists lose their everything they worked hard for just for signing that dotted line. They end up losing it all. Um, Look at Creedence Clearwater Revival. Yeah, they kind of blew themselves out of the water, but they also lost all their music. Same with other groups. But that's just I could have had it all, and I don't want to play their game. I would rather, there's an old saying in civil rights lore from days of old, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Simple as that. I have a story to tell. One of these days, I'll figure out exactly how to tell you that story. You. We're running out of time. I know this. We are running out of time. Guys, I'm going to cut this a little short. Somebody's had a full belly and he's telling me it's time to go outside. I agree with him. Freemasons is only part of the small puzzle. There's a big old spider web that starts at the top and works its way all the way down. It's you find this obscure little organization over here on the left or on the right. You think they're aligned with the left or the right or whatever. They're not a government organization, but they work heavily with the government. You'll find out that they're all a part of the puzzle. They have a web out there to everything you consume on YouTube, anything you consume on the internet, they're trying to control. Anything you watch on television, broadcast television, your ads, everything. It's all to control this, you. All of it is to convince you to think a certain way. That starts at birth. Exactly, Wingspan. It 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 and a lot of those are interlocking. You pull on a strand over here, and it's a big tapestry. You pull on one thread, and you find the whole thing coming down on you. I'm pulling on threads, hoping the whole thing doesn't come down on me. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here, and thank you for being taking the time out of your day for me. This is what's been the holdup. That's why I let everything go, as I'm just a little really. You're pointed in the right direction, Daisy. We are in the last days. Take care of yourselves. Please be safe out there, and I hope to see you all again in another week. I'll I hope to see you all again real soon.